Welcome back, everyone. I'm ESL teacher Lisa. Good to have you. Welcome to ESL Speaking Corner. Today we're going to continue our discussion in this ebook. You can also get the paperback. It's a book that I put together. I'll show you the cover. Mastering American English Conversation, Speak Like a Native. This is designed especially for intermediate English language learners. So if this describes you, let's go. We're going to go over some strategies in today's lesson. We're going to start on page 57. If you already have the ebook or the paperback, you can follow along. I'll be sharing some sections of it so you can get an idea of what's in the book, but also some strategies I'll share with you directly. If you're interested in purchasing the book, it's a discounted ebook on my Gumroad store, or you can go to Amazon and get the paperback. So section 4, we're going to discuss some strategies to speak more fluently. Also, we're going to talk about the power of dialogue reading. If you're not reading dialogues, you need to be. I'm going to go over some short dialogues. We have 100. We won't go over all 100, of course, with vocabulary definitions. And then we have 3 long dialogues. So if you're not sure what I mean by dialogues, I'm going to show you. Students don't read dialogues enough. You need to be reading dialogues. Absolutely. It should be part of your strategy. So you can read through pages 58 and 59 and 60 on your own, but it gives you the different strategies you should be focusing on. So I'll just read the bold. So for example, number 1 is immersion. We talked a lot about that in the last video. Conversation exchange, set goals, practice speaking, of course. Number 5, utilize technology. 6, learn from native speakers. And 7, be consistent. I'm just going to talk briefly about 6 and 7 before we move on to the dialogues. You should be seeking out opportunities to directly speak to native speakers. Why? It's an interesting sentence here. I'll read it word for word. Engaging with native speakers will not only enhance your language skills, but also provide you with the valuable cultural knowledge. Valuable cultural knowledge. So what they can add is cultural knowledge. So it's not just about speaking, but they can really help you navigate the English language to a more detailed degree. Let's look at number 7, be consistent. It's interesting that the advice is even spending 15 to 30 minutes daily, if it's on focused language learning, so you're really focusing, can give you good results, significant results over time. So some students think I don't have an hour a day to study English. It can just be 15 to 30 minutes, but it has to be daily, and you should be focusing on something each time. So you might say, okay, I'm going to practice my listening. I'm going to put a podcast on, or a movie or a TV show. I want to practice my reading. I'm going to read out loud. So there should be something that you're doing. I need to practice some idioms or some phrases. I'm going to do that. I'm going to read a dialogue. So that's what we mean by that. The learning should be focused daily, should be very focused. You should have a goal or purpose when you're doing something. So let's talk about dialogues. The power of dialogue reading. So if you have the book, you can read through the introduction. So this is an example of a short dialogue. So the first one here is at the airport. There are 100 of these short dialogues. So there's 100 different common situations we'll put you in. And check the vocabulary. See how a native puts their words together. So the first one. So you can read if you have a teacher or tutor or a friend or a family member, or you can just read it on your own. So there's person A, letter A, and letter B, person B. Okay. I'll just make this a little larger here. So the first one is at the airport. So for example, person A would say, "Excuse me, could you tell me where the baggage claim area is?" Person B, "Sure, it's downstairs. You can take the escalator over there." So do you know the word baggage claim when you travel? Do you know what it is? So we have it defined here, the place in the airport where you get your suitcases, etc. after you have traveled. So the official name is baggage claim. So you shouldn't be using any other words to describe this area. This is the vocabulary word, baggage claim. The next one, do you know escalator? So those are the moving stairs. It's escalator, not elevator, not moving stairs, not moving sidewalk or something else. It's escalator. It's a set of moving stairs that carries people between floors of buildings. So this is a very native-like conversation. Just two things, question and answer. So let me back out a little bit. Let's look at the next one. I'm going to back out so you can see. Ordering at a restaurant. Can I get the steak medium rare, please? Of course. Would you like any sides with that? Medium rare, a way of cooking steak so that it is pink in the middle, and that's a picture of medium rare. So did you know you can order meat rare, which is bloody, medium rare, you can order it just medium, you can order it well done. So there's different ways you can order meat. So sides, extra sides served with the main meal. So you might want to ask if you're in the restaurant, maybe you ordered a sandwich or a burger, you might say, can I get fries on the side or is it included in the meal? Can I get a salad, a side salad, or is it included in the meal? I want some potatoes. Can I get a side of potatoes? So when we say side, it's an extra dish that's served with the main meal. That's not included. If it's included, we usually just don't call it a side because it comes with the meal. So students often get confused with this word side. So again, go through all of these, talking about weekend plans, talking about the weather, at the doctor's office, at a job interview, asking for directions, at the grocery store, discussing a movie, in a taxi, on and on, discussing current events, at the library, at the post office. We take you through 100 of these. So if you've already done it, let us know how you liked it and how it helped you. These are everyday short conversations. It doesn't take a lot of time. Take 15 minutes a day. Go through these dialogues. Let's talk about the long dialogues. I want to go to page 163. So there's 100 pages of the short dialogues. Then we have the long dialogues, which start on page 164, I believe. Yes. What the long dialogues do, and I'll show you an example of that, is we add something very important. Tone. Tone. What is tone? Well, I'm going to read this word for word. I'll make it a little bigger so you can see. You can read it in more detail if you have a copy of the book. Let's start from here. When learning a new language, it's easy to focus primarily on vocabulary and grammar. However, effective communication isn't just about what words are used, but also how they're said. How they're said. And this is very different in different languages and cultures. So tone, how something is said, that's what tone is. How something is said plays a crucial role in conveying a message accurately and understanding the emotions or intentions behind it. There's emotions, intentions behind what we say based on how we say it. So I'll give you an example of this. What if I said to you, great job? So you notice my tone is very excited, very encouraging. Great job. You take that positively. But what if I said the same words, but this time I'm going to add a sarcastic tone. And I say to you, great job. Great job. It's a very negative tone. I'm not being positive. Great job. So even the words are, if they're identical, but the tone is very, very different, the understanding is very different. Are most Americans sarcastic? I wouldn't say that most are, but there are many who like to use sarcasm when they talk. I personally don't like sarcasm because sometimes you're putting the person down. It could be considered rude depending on the situation. But sometimes it's warranted, or sometimes you understand why somebody would use sarcasm. Okay. So get to know sarcasm at least when you hear it. So here's a long dialogue. I'm going to back out so you can see it. So what we've done here, the first example, we're going to follow Sophia at a museum. So the start of the dialogue, it's Sophia talking with David. But what you'll notice is we give you some direction as to what they're doing and then the tone. So we have here Sophia has a more excited tone. Here she has a more grateful tone. Here David has an enthusiastic tone. Here Sophie has an intrigued tone. Right? And then it continues on the next page. And then Jill at a job interview. So we have her, the interviewer with a smiling tone. Then Jill has this confident tone. And then the interview has an impressed tone. So as you read these, read them with the proper tone. So if I'm the interviewer, I'm just going to focus on this interview practice here. And she has a smiling tone. So how would the interviewer really say this if you're practicing with someone? I'm going to read it here. Okay, I'm just going to read this section here. Thank you for coming in today. We were impressed with your resume. Can you tell us more about your experience in project management? Right, that's how she's likely saying it with a smiling tone. Then look at Jill. She's supposed to have a confident tone. How would you say this in English? So she might say, of course, I've spent the last 7 years working on various projects, from software development to marketing campaigns. My role involved planning, execution, and ensuring timely delivery. Right, she would say very confidently. Then the interviewer is impressed. So how would she say it? How would she say it? That's quite diverse. Can you give us an example of a challenging project you've managed and how you handled it? Right, so she's very impressed. And then the dialogue continues. So go through these. We have some long dialogues, and this one's a little bit longer with the interview, so you can go through those pages. The next one, be at a family gathering. And the same thing, we give you the tone and the words, so go through each of these dialogues. And then this takes us to section 5. We'll go over that in the next video. The benefits of reading short stories. So now we go from dialogues to short stories. We give you 6 short stories in the ebook and paperback. And we're also going to talk about accent reduction and its importance, and how you can really reduce your accent, and why your focus or your goal should be reducing your accent, not eliminating your accent. So we'll talk more about that in the next video. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please give me a like, subscribe, comment, any questions or any videos you want to see. I always appreciate that. And I did appreciate this comment. Thank you so much. It encourages me to make more videos like this, and so we can grow the channel. I might be focusing on some other areas as the channel progresses. We'll see, but tell me really what you're struggling with and what you need help with. I'll try to start doing more lives in the future so I can answer some questions directly. If you have questions about American culture, if you have questions about living in the US, if you have questions just about how to improve your American spoken English that I haven't covered thus far on this channel, then please ask the question. See you in the next video. Thank you, everyone.